Welcome back, guys, to Manhattan's Voice. My name is Julian West.
My name is Nicole Miranda.
Woo! Holy moly.
Who's the third person? Who's the third person on the table? Yeah.
My name is Julian West.
Guys, I'm eating a croissant.
That's false.
Why.
Yeah.
My name is Chocolate Croissant.
Nicole is currently devouring a croissant as we start this recording.
Delicious.
So welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Apologies first off for not being able to put an episode up last week. Unfortunately, my hard drive that I work with everything on, including this podcast, failed.
You should have a backup.
It's all that porn you
backup.
got, bro.
Guess what? I was going to buy a drive to back everything up the day after the drive failed. So I went into last Thursday with a working drive and the mindset that I was going to buy a large drive that Friday to back up that small working drive. And then the drive failed on Thursday.
I've been telling you for months. Why are you downloading
Shut up.
terabytes of pornography?
Don't talk to me.
Terabytes of pornography.
Don't talk to me.
Wow.
Like that. Hardcore smut that you've been downloading.
Do not cut that out because everybody needs to know.
No, I'm gonna leave it in. That's fine. We're all adults here. It's fine.
Yeah, we can talk about your addictive
No.
Not that.
That's slander. That's what that is.
Wrong.
I didn't hear denial though.
So yeah, deep apologies for not being able to put anything up for you guys last week.
I blame Nicole.
Blame me.
It was just
because I touched the hard drive.
Last week was just there was a lot of things that went wrong.
I know your categories.
And the hard drive was unfortunately one of them. So the interview that we had with Caribe Angeles on that hard drive, Seagate, the manufacturer of my hard drive, I hope that they get the data recovery right because I do not want to lose that episode.
If you're listening, no pressure.
My cousin kind of told me that it's hard to bring back hard drives and stuff like that.
There we go. Positive feed over here.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying.
Positive Patricia.
The thing is, the drive thankfully was still under warranty. So
break the warranty. We're trying to. Oh well.
I had a
warranty.
I had a data recovery plan with Seagate. I'm hoping
my boy's prepared, baby.
I'm hoping that since
it's not even plugged in either.
David plugged his charger into the wall and then didn't plug his phone into the charger.
He barely plugged it into the wall too because it was crooked.
Fantastic.
It was hanging.
So
I got Narcos to watch on the train, so I don't want my phone on that.
I'm hoping that the manufacturer of the drive can save the data on the drive. That's all the technical talk I'll get into today because...
And you used the word drive 4 times in one sentence.
Yeah, I really did.
Wow. Hard drive.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, for that.
Since you want to be so talkative, how was your week, Nicole?
My week. Let's see. What did I do in this past week?
We don't know. That's why we're asking.
What did I do?
I don't know.
What was the last time we hung out?
Never.
Tuesday. I see you as little as possible.
All right. So during the week I had class. Friday I had, oh my God. The company that I work for downtown, there's they go out to these productions and stuff like that, production events, whatever. So this one was in California.
Where's my invite?
Yeah, where's my invite too? I don't know.
I'm cool. Thanks, guys. I'm fine. I don't want to go.
It's fine. Anyways, so
David just spilled his coffee on himself. That was why he squealed.
We're just gonna give you guys play by play if you guys didn't want it.
So production events.
I
feel like that's your thing. You sing everything, every word you possibly can.
Yeah, if you don't know Nicole,
if there's a birthday, happy birthday.
Even if there's not a happy birthday.
Yeah, you probably
that was pretty good, right? I got that shit on lock.
That was pretty close.
All right. Anyways, so 3 of the girls that I really report to are in California, and then other this office is small, even though it's a really good company, whatever. So majority
shots.
No, it's good.
No.
Everybody
Small
was gone,
office,
but it's nice. Anyways, everybody was gone. It was just literally me and one other person. I'm pretty sure she's the accountant or something like that. I'm not sure what her job title is, but she handles numbers. So it was literally just her and I kind of didn't really know what to do all day. So I kind of went through everything, through their Instagram, stuff like that. Saturday.
David.
What did I do Saturday?
It was wobbling.
Saturday, I what did I do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was in Long
It's
Island, so I don't know. I wasn't watching you.
Oh, I slept over
Binoculars outside her house.
I slept over at my mom's house, hung out with my mom. The Saturday,
Aw.
hung out with my cousins, game night, turnip.
That's
Called a
adorable.
sleepover, or you're just crashing at your mom's house?
It's a sleepover.
Sleeping over with your mom.
Sleep over
I mean,
at my
because she
mom's,
doesn't
because
live
I don't live
there.
with my mom.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
She lives with her aunt. She lives with her aunt. Wow.
Yeah, she
I
was
combined
in
like
Texas.
5 words.
Shout out
She's
to
in
Auntie.
Texas, but
Your
she's
mom
back.
is in Texas?
No,
Oh, your
my
aunt's in
aunt.
Texas. Okay.
She's in Texas, so now she's back tonight. She's coming back,
Welcome back.
which
To
is
New York.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night because today's Friday. If you're
Today
listening.
is Friday.
Anyways,
Happy Friday,
I
friends.
just slapped my mic. I'm sorry.
Friday. So then Saturday had game night. Game night was really fun with all my cousins and like a couple
What'd you
of
play?
friends, stuff like that.
Yeah, what did you guys
We
play?
played Jenga. We
Ooh.
played
Never
Taboo.
played
Jenga.
Incoherent.
Jenga gets heated.
I don't like Jenga.
With my family and with my friends. Jenga
Word?
gets
It's just a
heated.
mess you gotta clean up.
Yeah,
But it's
no.
a fun mess.
What's a fun mess?
Ah.
That's a fun mess. That's, you're right.
I thought you were gonna say something like okay.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyways.
Do you have anything else to say, or can we move on from that?
Oh,
from
we
that?
went to the printing factory today for
Yes, that was
the
today.
newspaper, and there's a lot of things that are going to be changing this next issue. So stay tuned.
Look out for massive changes
Turnip.
to the Manhattan Globe.
Turnip. It was a good experience, and I'm
it
glad
was really
David got to
cool.
go. I'm glad that Julian was there to be my production manager.
It was
I
very,
was
very
there for
cool.
moral support.
How do you still not know my position?
You're a production manager.
I am managing editor.
You're
Something saying
managing it.
projection manager.
Production.
I am not production editor anymore. That was last semester.
Are you sure?
I'm managing editor.
It's the same thing.
No,
You're
it's
still
not.
Managing me.
It's not the same
and everything.
thing.
Managing editor. Now I know.
Wow, editor in chief doesn't
Now
know
that
her.
I know.
I've kept my
You're
rank. so I'm
Julian.
happy.
You know
You're
what?
no, because I don't look at you with the title. You're just my right hand man, the go-to man. Don't start crying.
All right, no need to flatter me.
Okay?
Like,
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
cry
Don't
on
lie to the
command.
guy. Jesus.
You're just
Yeah, honestly.
She called me her number 2 yesterday, bro. So I don't believe her.
when
I'm just kidding. No, she
I'll
didn't.
knock you
Behind
out.
my back.
Nicole would never
in
call me.
front of my salad. Anyways,
How was your week, David?
Pretty boring. Didn't really
Boring.
much. Yeah.
Just
word.
working?
I didn't work.
Schoolwork?
I didn't work this weekend.
Why not?
I wasn't scheduled to work.
Why not?
But I do. I literally get like a day a week.
Why not?
Shut up. No, yeah,
Just
pretty
classes
boring.
and
Yeah,
stuff?
Classes.
I wonder if people think we're annoying.
I think you're annoying.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Um,
And by we I mean me. I don't want to
Possibly.
say it. Possibly. I'm sorry guys if you think I'm annoying. A lot of people think I'm annoying. I think I'm annoying.
You add a certain flavor to the podcast.
I'm just
you know?
very freaking loud and obnoxious sometimes. Am I obnoxious?
Oh yeah.
Crickets. Sorry.
David just silently
I
nodded
nodded.
yes.
I nodded. Oh yeah.
I tried.
We're all
Um,
annoying.
Yeah, I'm annoying.
I said that
in
when we
my
started
own
this.
way. It's fine.
She may be annoying, but we're all annoying.
Yeah.
And in some way, I'm definitely annoying. I know that. I know I can talk. Sorry. I know I could talk like hell.
I'll just have to,
Blake.
more editing. Right.
Stop.
Anything
So,
else
Julian-
happen
oh,
this
okay.
week? Anything?
Yeah. Can I talk?
Yeah, I
You
didn't
interrupt
want
me
to cut
one
you
You
more
off.
time.
literally said you didn't even work and didn't do anything. So what am I supposed to do with that? Exactly.
Wow.
Anyways.
David, anything else? Anything else happen in your week?
No, but clearly I've been cut off. I've been
Because
cut
they
off.
didn't put me on the
I'm
schedule.
sorry.
All right,
Um,
I'm sorry.
So,
Yeah, you're not annoying, Nicole. Yeah, you're definitely not annoying.
As I just annoy him.
so
Stop.
my these guys they're fighting over here.
I don't even know where it
My
is. I'm
week
gonna pick it up
was pretty busy. I've been doing a lot of writing.
Why is it busy?
I have to do like rehearsals with actors and
Darn
writing
it.
scripts and all that stuff.
How's your Tundies class for directing?
It's very involved. Like I'm learning a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
I'm learning a lot about like working with actors. Like I feel like I'm getting a lot of information that I'm going to need.
Word.
And I've even gotten to try and do a little bit of acting, like running through a script and like just being an actor.
He said,
I might
Hollywood.
I might give acting a shot someday,
Darn
like
it.
just something on the side.
I want to get into modeling, but at the same time,
Why not? Just do it. Get some headshots. Do it.
my sister got headshots, but then she started doing nursing again. So,
Doing her what?
So they're just sitting
Nursing.
there
so they're
Oh,
sitting
nursing.
there.
doing nothing.
But if I do headshots, my aunt wants me to take headshots. If I do it, then I'm gonna actually like submit my things and like see if I can get stuff.
yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
well, yeah.
I mean,
What's the alternative?
some people just post on a website and then they just wait.
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of wait. Make some money. This plus size model. Her name is Paloma. I don't know her name, but she's plus size and her like net worth is like kind of crazy.
Good for her.
Look at Ashley
Yeah.
Graham. She's crushing it.
Exactly. I don't see
Who's Ashley Graham? That
Plus
name
size
sounds
model.
she's a plus size
She's hot as
model.
hell. How's
that
I have no idea.
I
Her
like
name
that.
sounds familiar for
I
some
like
reason.
seeing more, and she the one that I was talking
Representation
about,
is
she was walking the runway for like this
No bald models though. You ever heard of that? No bald guys out there.
bald guys.
Bald guys.
Usually
There's,
maybe they buzz cut it.
Yeah,
What's
that's not
Patrick Stewart? I mean, he's
the same.
old,
No,
but
model.
he's, I don't know.
He models for brands, but that's because he's an icon.
Guys, I'm gonna shave my head and I'm gonna try to become a model.
Do it. Why not?
I don't think they're gonna want me.
But yeah, my week was just a lot of work, a lot of schoolwork, trying to keep myself busy.
Imagine me bald.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like it's not a hard look to pull off. Like,
My head would be cold as hell.
Imagine.
Welcome to my life, bro. Welcome to my life.
We both point at David like you're bald.
It'd
Point
be,
at you too.
it'd be a very
Sorry.
different like hairstyle, but I feel like a lot of people. Can
You guys are
pull it
making
off.
it sound like some disease.
No, like
Bald's tough, man.
It's
No,
just-
I
Oof,
like.
I don't know,
being
man.
Bald isn't bad.
Yeah, it's just very
Some people
different
look better
from-
bald than with hair.
yeah,
Okay,
honestly.
cool.
Do you look better?
We're
bald
not-
with
we're not
hair?
insulting you,
I'm not
dude.
insulted, but
All
I don't
right.
even know. how
Let's
this
move
came-
on.
No,
Let's move
you don't know
on.
what I mean.
I'm not, guys. Yeah, bald. Yeah,
As long as
bald is beautiful, baby.
just don't be offended.
I'm not offended. I just
Um,
don't. You guys got like, no, like it's not bad.
All right.
No, we're
Well,
literally just saying.
let's just dive straight into our topic for
I like
this
bald.
episode. You like bald?
I like
Okay,
bald.
Winter.
cool. Bald is cool.
As I wink. to
Anyway,
David. No, I'm just playing.
we're talking about mental health today, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, as college students, especially as like millennials and Gen Z in college, like I feel like a lot more people are aware of. I'm Gen Z. Yeah, you're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot more people our age are aware of just mental health being a thing. Like I feel like older generations just like didn't really consider it to be.
They still
I
don't.
feel- no, I
Some
feel like
people
it's
still
a bit
don't
more
consider
normal
it.
nowadays to talk about.
Yeah, thankfully.
True.
Like I feel like that's a really good.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like talking about like your emotions like this, like the 80s or the 70s. I feel
Yeah, it
like
was
you
just
Yeah.
not a
get
thing.
Punch in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also like boys like not crying and like not being
Time
like
has
they
changed.
toughen
like the
up.
song.
Yeah, what was it that you were just saying? There was a
Like
song?
Like the song. Oh yeah, Boys Don't Cry by The Cure.
Oh, yeah, like the whole thing about like men actually like the people being against toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Like I was just I was showing David a meme earlier about like how people would like typically deal with like
Oh,
men being sensitive. So it was Phil Swift with like a piece of flex tape on his hand, and it was like
Phil Swift here.
it was the barrel with like a hole in it just gushing water. So Phil Swift was society, the barrel leaking was male sensitivity,
Yeah.
and then
He's
he
just
slapped the
smacking
tape on
with
it,
Oh
and
my
the tape
goodness.
was man up. That's what
Aw.
people say.
I hate that. Like, wait,
Yeah,
I have since I have like 3 brothers. Usually, like,
happy late birthday to your
Ale,
brother.
Ale,
So,
he
yeah, I
turned
saw that. Happy
13.
late
Oh
birthday. I saw
wow!
that.
Happy birthday!
I read that
my
up. Happy late birthday to him.
baby. He's 13. I met him when he was 2 because I wasn't there when he grew up. He was the only one. Anyways, not growing up, but like getting to know my brothers and then like growing up with them. These last almost 4 years. It's almost been 4 years since I moved up from Miami. Anyways, fun fact. Anyways,
Wait, what year did you move here?
I moved here in 2016.
Florida.
Anyways,
That's where my grandma lives.
that's where we
West
came
Palm Beach, we see you, baby.
Miami. Anyways, so I tell my brothers, I'm like, you guys can cry anytime you guys want to. Don't like think like this is, or also what was it? Talk about their feelings, because they don't like who wants to talk about their feelings. But I always tell them, I'm like, talk to me about your feelings. Let me know if you need anything.
like
Stuff like that.
I mean, we can start this discussion with like
Family.
toxic masculinity. Like, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
we can start it this way, but like there's still I feel like it's not over. Like the changes that need to happen aren't over. Like there's still a lot of
Negative stigma.
stigma.
Not
toward-
a whole lot. I mean, a good portion of guys aren't really emotional people. You know?
Depends on where you go also, like what type of people you're meeting, because I feel like everybody's kind
New
of
York's
different.
very, very modern. you know,
Yeah, no, definitely.
modern sensibilities. You know?
Yeah.
I know a few guys like our age that'd be like, oh, I don't care if I cry, or like there's some guys that are like, I don't want to cry.
I haven't cried in a month, but I have no problem crying.
Yeah, you see that?
I
Like,
think I
some
cried a
people-
couple days ago, honestly.
I watched Billy Elliot and I cried like a baby.
When was the last time I cried? I don't know.
Before that was when Kobe Bryant died.
Yeah,
cried.
that was really.
I watched
I,
highlights.
I
cried for like
didn't,
2
but I
hours.
was pretty close, honestly.
Cried like a baby.
Oh, I was watching a TV show and something bad happened, and then I just started crying. I was like,
How long ago was that?
I think like less than a week ago.
I feel that. It was a couple days
You know
ago.
what? It is what it
We
is.
straight crying, baby.
or like when my brothers like they, you know, when I don't you have brothers. You don't have a brother.
No.
But like they like kind of like go against each other and they're just like, oh, don't be a pussy or stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, chill out. I'm like, calm down. If his feelings are hurt, his feelings are hurt. Or someone gets like the youngest one, he gets like really upset because they're older and they like mess around with him or like, you know, stupid stuff. And I'm like, yo, chill out. I always have to be like obviously this older sister to like tell them not to do that.
I feel like when toxic masculinity kind of becomes an issue, like it also kind of points to like how some guys were raised, like
Mhm.
not to fault their parents, like not to
Yeah,
say
it's
that
not their
they
fault. No,
not to
kidding.
say that they like intentionally would put their son in like that situation, but I feel like because of like generational differences, like how they felt about like how a man should present himself and stuff like that, I feel like that would be why some people like would grow up with this kind of like issue with toxic masculinity, like
Mhm.
feeling like they can't really be themselves. They have to like present this certain
Also like friends,
image of a man.
friends, like it has like a big thing to do, like because if you don't have like people like supporting you, like say like you and David are friends and like he does not cry at
Ooh,
all.
Slow down.
We're much more than friends now.
Like you
Work
like
acquaintance.
like you're crying, Julian, and then David's just like, yo, why are you crying? Like
You crying, bro?
yeah, stuff like that. Because I know like for my brothers, definitely like my dad isn't never like the dad to be like, oh, what are you crying? Like, I'll give you something to cry about. No.
Really
But
aggressive.
You're saying he's not
that's
that.
how my stepdad was to
Wait,
me.
are you
That's why
saying
I'm
he
like,
is that kind of guy?
no,
Or
he's not that type
Okay.
of guy. So he's like very caring and loving. And the same thing for my stepmom too. So
Are you
I
punishing someone for crying?
no, literally okay, no, like it's not a bad like to me it wasn't a bad thing because I kind of built some character. My personality
So
came
where's
from
the
my
line
stepdad.
between like toughening a kid up and
And
also
then-
like letting them be emotional?
I feel like I feel like
growing up, ooh, I could not cry. Really.
you have to like you can't say that toughening up is about presenting a certain image. And I feel like that's where like toxic masculinity kind of came from, because it was about not being able to deal with what life presents to you, but just putting out this, I'm a man, look at me, I don't cry, like that kind of
What
I
are,
feel
what are
like
tears?
I feel like toughening up for men growing up was more about building an image rather than building a well-rounded person.
Mm-hmm. No,
that's how I
that.
feel.
Definitely my growing up, I grew up with my stepdad and he's like a football coach and like he's always like really, really tough, stuff like that. So the way that he was like with his like players, he was like that with my sister and I. So like if like my sister and I were
That's
crying.
why they became offensive linemen.
So I was shocked. So when my sister and I would cry, literally he'd be like, shut up or I'll give you something to cry about.
Give me a lap.
So it was like always like tough, and that's why like I normally like in my family I'm known to be a bit because like I don't really like, it's not like I'm like
I'm calling CPS. That's it.
I'm not like a loving, caring person, or like I don't cry as like, or like sensitive stuff like that. So that's why I'm just like, that's kind of but that, like I can't change it now. But now I know with my kids, like if I have a boy or a girl or whatever, if they're crying, I'm gonna be like, I love
Hey,
you.
buddy, it be like that sometimes.
But it's
Okay?
crazy.
It really do be like that
Yeah.
sometimes.
No, but it's crazy because my mom's like the complete opposite from my stepdad. My mom's like the caring,
The coddling one.
like come like hang out with me, and then my stepdad's like tough. So that's why I'm like kind of tough because of him. And I'm like, with my kids, I'm gonna be like, it's okay. But then sometimes I'm gonna be like, yo, shut up, shut
Stop
up,
crying.
stop crying.
do you mean
Go
you want a bottle?
home.
Shut up.
You're
Feed
like
yourself.
you're so
Come on.
grown. Just do it yourself.
Self-
Meanwhile, she's
Reliance.
speaking to like a 2-year-old, like
Yeah,
in a cradle.
My parents.
What's your problem,
I-
baby?
My parents' sake, I'm gonna be like, they always said like, oh, good luck to your husband and stuff like that. I'm like, oh shoot, sorry. My
My
bad.
parents said the same
It's-
thing to me.
It's funny that you bring up football though, because I feel like football. I used to play football. I was in a Pop Warner team. I was on a Pop Warner team.
What position?
I played defense and offense. Defense, I was right tackle. I played a little bit of tight end, but then
he's speaking
offense.
football.
Offense, I was usually tackle or guard. So
Few.
mostly lineman.
I ran track.
I played football.
I
played baseball for 7 years. I hit 2 balls.
Ooh.
My mom literally said, David, if you don't start hitting balls, we're just not going to come to these games anymore. You're literally just sitting in the outfield. I hit a ball that day, but I didn't make it a second. I didn't make it a second.
You see, that's why they were really tough on you.
Okay, but I still look back at that like, man, that was really messed up. My mother to threaten to stop coming to my baseball games. I mention that to my mother all the time. She's like, well, you know what? You hit a ball that day. I'm just like, yeah, but I never hit a ball like ever again after that.
She scarred you.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
That is so cute.
So cute, yeah.
But yeah,
You
like
should have hit the ball.
playing football in elementary school was like
I hope your kid never hits a baseball.
That was like my first exposure to like I didn't know toxic masculinity was a thing at the time, but like that was my first exposure to it. Like
football
kind of
that makes sense.
Like
100%.
kind of being like feeling like I had to put on some kind of like persona around the guys,
hyper masculine,
Yeah.
smack
And
each other's
then-
butts all
Like
the time.
really
And
tough.
especially with the coaches, because the coaches were like they were brutal sometimes. Like one of my like worst memories was I went to football camp
You went to football
in
camp?
like upstate,
I went to tennis camp.
and there was that's a story for another time. I went
Really good
to
at tennis camp.
I went to
You-
football
you are?
camp upstate, and there was one exercise where they said we had to do 10 push-ups, but they
I can't
kept
do
you
one.
they kept you in the push-up position, basically doing a plank for like a couple minutes between push-ups. So every time someone fell
What
between
the
push-ups,
fuck?
we just have to start over. Like, and it was like 50 guys. So people kept falling over. We get to like 3 push-ups and then we have to start over. And my arms were killing me. And
pick me up.
I was just getting really like, I was upset. That's the thing. Like I was really upset that I couldn't do it,
Oh,
but
and
I
yourself?
was hurting really badly.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like I ended up falling over and they like kicked me out and like you said, like you suck. Like they basically said you suck for not being able to like.
I would be like, yeah, I
What do
I
you
was
mean you
like-
can't handle physical
I was
torture,
like-
you baby?
I was like 11 or 12 years old and they're like,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
you
thinking
suck
this is
for
high
not.
school,
No,
bro.
no.
Oh,
No.
snap. 12?
All right,
11,
son.
12, bro.
I was really young.
That's
I
messed
couldn't
up.
even run properly.
No
at
way.
11 or 12.
Like,
You can't walk.
I ran like an idiot.
like for some, I like I come to the realization that like I was a small child and they were expecting a lot of
yeah.
like
Want,
way too much of me.
NFL
Like-
performance out of you, man.
Do you see like nowadays like the whole thing? Because there was someone that had posted a video of their coach yelling at them after a game, and then someone like quoted
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just
but-
like, "Oh, this generation's so like sensitive," stuff like that. I mean, like
I don't know.
there's-
To a certain
there's-
extent,
yeah, there's a difference between hyping someone up
Yeah.
and like telling them
you're
how
bringing
it
the
is.
best out of someone up to a certain point.
Yeah.
You're bringing the best out of someone.
And then there's a whole nother thing about calling people stupid, idiots, like
Shut
all
up,
that
idiot.
stuff. Oh, okay. All that stuff. Obviously, there's borders, and it can be crossed, or it could not be crossed.
we crossing borders, baby.
Yerp. So yeah, that's a horrible experience, Julian.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
That
but
didn't happen at tennis camp, man.
Yeah, true.
Tennis camp,
that
they're a lot
wouldn't,
easier
that
on
wouldn't
you.
happen. At
They're a lot
tennis
easier
camp.
when you're at tennis camp.
But
Even
yeah,
Dobrik
I mean,
plays tennis.
thankfully we're a lot more. Thank you for that little
Cool.
tidbit. That was wonderful.
Cole's fun
Thank-
fact for the day.
Thankfully,
Have a
we're a
lot.
lot more.
Give us one more.
My nails are actually growing.
That
really
is not a
long.
fun fact.
Okay,
That's
well,
just a fact.
yeah.
Oh.
Thankfully, we're a lot
Maybe
more
it's not fun
aware
for you, but
of
it
toxic
is for me.
masculinity nowadays, and people are actually working hard to like change our stereotypes of what a man should be. So I think that's cool.
Definitely. What if
When you
my
say "What a Man," I think
kid-
I heard that song in my head.
Oh,
What a man! What a man! What a man! What a mighty good man. Okay. Anyway,
That was
now
good.
that we're-
I'm surprised you didn't join
that
in on
was really good.
Harmonies
I was just
for
gonna let you guys
days,
do
bro.
that because I didn't want to ruin it. But anyways, what is something else?
Yeah,
Can
we
we
can-
call this episode "What a Man"?
we can do that. That's the title of the episode. So our first little written tidbit here, since we started on like
I just want to make sure
a
we have
tangent.
the SD card put in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
we wouldn't be able to record if we didn't.
What about our SG card? Is it in there?
SG? I think so. I have to
hate
check.
you.
SG in there? Check the hypercortex, and then we'll see if the SG card's in there.
Listen, Linda.
Get the turbo.
So our
Listen.
first-
Go hyperdrive.
Our first little tidbit is on perfectionism, which is definitely still a pretty big
That's my
problem.
middle name, baby.
I would definitely call myself a perfectionist, and it's
I
bad.
try to be.
I just call myself
Um,
perfect.
So this
You're
is
right.
this is a quote from one of the sources that actually Jess, shout out to Jess, helped collect for
Thanks,
us.
Jess.
Love you,
She's helping
Jess.
us with
Do they know-
pre-production.
Oh yeah, our new
Um,
pre-production manager.
pre-production manager.
Pre-production manager.
Yeah,
Shout out to Jess.
she's doing a great job. So our first quote is quote a 2017 study.
First quote is quote.
A 2017 study found that perfectionism is more prevalent than ever. Research has connected perfectionism with anxiety, depression, and overcompulsive disorder.
Word.
End quote.
I always kind of
Word.
wanted to be like a perfectionist just so I can have a certain standard of how I do things, but I think we all know. I'm not a perfectionist, yeah.
I've had to like kind of grow out of my perfectionism a
Yes.
little bit because I was
I
very
can
much
believe it, Julie.
I was very much like an overachiever growing up as well.
no.
No.
like, And
Get out of
What?
town.
That's insane.
don't do this to me right now.
Is the sky blue?
Or is it blue?
But yeah, like even to this day, like I still can tend to hold myself to very ridiculous standards.
Mr. 10-minute documentary for a 2-minute assignment.
Yeah,
That's freaking insane.
I've done that.
No, but I feel
Um,
that.
Yeah,
Growing up, I will always like to be on schedules, and my aunt always brings up the time that one time she visited Miami.
Ow.
Sorry. One time she
Pinching my thigh.
Sorry. One time she visited Miami and she saw my sister and I had like this whole day planned out, but she brought her boyfriend at the time to come visit too, and I got so mad that like he ruined the plans.
oh,
because
you
they
messed up your
and
entire schedule.
That's why I don't like
it
making
messed
plans
up
like
my
that.
whole schedule. I was on the top of the stairs and I threw down the paper and then I went into my room, and that's how I am all the time. Still am like that sometimes. Like when I plan something out and it doesn't go, like even if it's like concrete and then like someone like says no, so I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You're wasting my time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want you wasting my time, David.
Too bad. I'm
Yeah, that's
gonna
a-
waste the shit out of
That's a
your time.
Joji song.
What?
I don't want to waste my
I
time.
don't know that
Okay,
song.
well, anyway,
Happy birthday.
so we can-
Happy birthday
Do you-
to you.
so you don't really feel like you have a professionalism or perfection. I'm sorry, no.
I beg your pardon,
Wrong
sir.
word. You don't really have a
No,
perfectionist
no.
streak.
Not really.
Perfectionist. Jeez.
I hate being late. That's about the closest thing I really have to it. Like I get anxiety if I'm like running behind schedule.
That makes
Same,
sense.
but I do it.
I'm a big like get there early as possible.
Punctuality. Yeah.
Yeah, like for school, I'm here an hour early. I take a train.
I'm lucky if
early
I'm
here.
like 15 minutes early sometimes.
No, I literally I have class at 11. I'm usually here by 10.
I promise you, I don't know why, but every Wednesday morning this semester, I am late to Jaffe's class. I don't know. The freaking trains hate me. I leave an hour before school
Jersey.
starts, and I get here like right on time. Well, no, not even right on time. Like there was one morning, I was just like, "Oh, class starts at 9:45. Class starts at 9:30. What in the world made me think that?" And then the trains stop every single time on Wednesday mornings when I go to his class.
That used to happen with me with
It's a
Sherwin's
curse.
class when we had field production. I would show up. We had class at like 1, but I'd show up at 2. Like, all right, cool, I'm early, and like everybody's still in the class. And I was like, oh, guess I'm not early.
Yes, you're
Now,
not.
see, another reason why I come really early is because like the trains are really unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's always a gamble.
Tomorrow,
Makes sense.
I don't like being late.
I'm gonna try to come to class early.
You should do that. But we can segue into, well, it's not a great segue, but it's called the snowflake thesis. We were actually like kind of talking about it earlier with the toxic masculinity thing, but
It's an article about your hair.
it's not about my hair. It's this kind of idea that some people have that today's youth have been coddled by helicopter parents and allowed to avoid the responsibility and independence that foster mental resilience.
Heck
Only thing I'll
no.
say, I don't believe in participation trophies. That's the one thing I don't like.
What do you mean by that?
I think participation trophies are dumb.
Oh, you mean like people being coddled just for being there,
Like,
basically?
no, like literally
being
Participation-
awarded for just being there.
Just for being there.
Yeah,
Dumb.
like not really doing anything.
Yeah, I don't like
Okay.
that either.
I
I
get
get
that.
it. I get
oh,
it,
well,
but
you know what? You tried your best. Here's a trophy anyway. That's the what's
Yeah.
what's the fun in winning then if you're just getting a trophy either way.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
My mother is very overprotective, but I'm glad that she was overprotective in some ways and aspects and all that stuff. But also, like, being close with her, she taught me a lot about like adult things. Growing up, she would, instead of like not talking about finances and all this stuff like taxes, homes, and all that stuff, she would talk to us about it all the time.
See, millennials are really known for being like the textbook snowflakes. I feel like, and which is kind of annoying. I think.
What you
Why?
feel like you're? No, I'm good. You feel like
take some.
you're like you think your generation is seen as coddled all the time.
Oh yeah, millennials are like
I mean,
babies, bro.
us too, especially like.
It's kind of, I don't know. When I was a part of that book that, with Gail Sheehy, she was talking about it, and that's one of the reasons why I signed up, because I just feel like the negative stigma of like snowflake millennials is
There are a lot of
kind
stereotypes.
obnoxious. Very
Yeah.
obnoxious.
I
I wouldn't
and
say I'm a snowflake, but I'm definitely
A similar-
conscious of how people feel, and you know, I'm not
Yeah.
what can be offensive, but I'm not like, how dare you say
Yeah.
that, you know?
I do kind of feel like with how progressive things are getting.
By the way, I gave you
lot
a
of-
really big squeeze. I'm
it's,
sorry.
It's fine.
I saw that.
I feel like with how progressive things are getting and how like I feel like it's a positive change, and I think a lot of people our age do as well. But older people definitely have a perspective that because we're coddled and not as informed about the world or sheltered from the world, that our perspectives are skewed, that we end up being more progressive. But I don't think that's true. You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, yeah, but I mean, it's really just
I guess everybody has their own opinion.
depends
and
on
stuff like
depends
that.
on the how coddled you were talking about here, like, you know,
Like their view is that we're being so sheltered or growing up we've been so sheltered from our parents, sheltered by our parents to avoid like negative stimuli in life, to where we don't have a educated enough perspective
Oh heck no!
on
I don't know.
It
progressive
depends.
topics.
I feel like
Everyone
it's-
gets a no. Everyone gets rejected at a certain point for, let's say, a job or anything. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you may be coddled as a baby. Like, oh, your mom maybe gives you whatever you want, but like, you know, that's not how real life works. Eventually, you'll see real life is not gonna coddle you at all.
And they're actually like there's evidence that millennials and Gen Z are like, they're a lot more educated to the point where they're actually like rethinking a lot of things about how to function, especially in the US, because another quote, late millennials and Gen Z are also delaying many of the milestones of adulthood previous generations took for granted. So
Well, I mean,
some of the
houses didn't cost what they used to.
yeah,
Let's say
exactly.
that, that's for
Some of
sure.
the examples is renting / leasing homes instead of owning them, changing relationship or the marriage landscape, the gig economy,
Anybody getting married soon?
And,
Anybody buying a house?
group
Can
living
I?
or living with parents. So, tying this back into mental health, I feel like in a lot of cases, I don't know if you guys should share the same perspective, but I feel like we have been forced in certain areas to grow up faster, to really like understand information faster and be able to go out into the real world more quickly than we feel like we might have wanted to. And that can, for a lot of people, that can create like excess stress and,
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
distorted perspectives on a lot of things that can
Life's
cause
not
like
what it
mental
used
health
to be, man,
conditions.
you know?
Yeah, things change,
Yeah.
and like
Look
people
at any-
change
look
along
at,
with
look
it.
at any decade and just see how different it is, you know?
Yeah.
Even like the night, I mean, I still think of the 90s like 10 years ago, and that's like so 20 years ago, but like even the 90s were like crazy drastically different, you know? Not as many things were accepted as they used to be, and
That's crazy.
things were cheaper, economy was a little better, you know? It's weird, it's different, it's a different era, man. You can't expect the same results for a completely different generation.
Nicole, you have any input on that? On what I was saying?
I mean, I just feel like it's gonna just keep going, and like people who are against it, they're just gonna be negative. They'd be down.
Hey, man, people hated hippies, and look, they turned out fine. Now look at us.
That's true.
People hate us.
we
I think hippies are cool.
freaky.
Some hippies are okay.
Thanks, hippies.
Some hippies are okay. Hippies nowadays are different, bro. It's like electronic hippies. They're very annoying.
Electronic. Oh, I know what you're talking
Wooks.
about. Oh,
Wooks
like,
are annoying.
yeah.
Some wooks are annoying. I know someone.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, they're kind of weird.
Smelling like BO, selling you cheap weed.
No offense to hippies.
Can you cut that part out? Actually, I don't know why I said
Yeah.
selling cheap weed.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that out.
Because I don't want to sound like I'm buying weed
Yeah.
on tape.
Yeah. So there's another quote we have here. In general, seeking help is seen as a privilege and often prohibitively expensive. In a survey of 900 millennials conducted by American University in 2015, nearly half said that they do not believe that people their age know where to go for mental health care, and more than half cited the cost of help as a primary challenge. I feel like this is a really good point as to why a lot of people don't seek the mental health care that they need. Because a lot of insurances don't cover mental health costs, mental health care costs. Like a lot of insurance providers don't cover therapy. They don't cover like cognitive behavioral therapy, things like that.
A lot of people don't have insurance. Stuff
Yeah,
like
and
that.
people that don't have insurance are just, they're left out.
Yeah.
This is where I really want to shout out counseling and wellness and the peer health educators, because if you're on campus, if you're a student at the New York Institute of Technology, counseling and wellness is free for students. They're always here every day of the week. You can literally walk right in and ask to make an appointment to talk to someone for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. I mean, they're there for us, and I feel like they're a very undervalued resource some of the time. A lot of the time.
I gotta go.
And the peer health educators are there to help people. If you see them around on campus, if you feel
are you a peer health educator?
No, I'm not. I've considered it, but I also don't. I just don't want my schedule to conflict with helping other people's. But shout out to all the peer health educators out there. I know Nicole Menendez is a peer health educator.
That's right. Shout out to Nicole Menendez.
I believe there are a couple other peer health educators that I know.
Every Tuesday, room 408, 1 to 2 p.m.
Yes. But yeah, they're there to help too. They're there to help advocate for counseling and wellness as a source of, relief and aid for mental health issues.
Did you have that available option at any point in your life?
What do you mean?
In terms of like insurance wise, like did you have that option?
Elaborate. I'm confused.
Like you were saying before, how like not everybody can really afford it or sign on their insurance plan. Like, did you have that option available if you did seek it out?
Like, did I have?
Does your healthcare provider help?
I'm actually not sure. Thankfully, I didn't have to look into that because I have counseling and wellness. In the future, when I am not a student here anymore, I will potentially have to look into that, and I hope that by that time, maybe things have changed and mental health care is covered by insurance providers. I don't know.
How about you?
I don't know. I was thinking about going to therapy just cause, but I haven't looked into it.
It's healthy.
It's healthy.
It's really
and there's
good.
such a negative stigma around therapy.
There really is.
Because even like,
I feel it's getting better though.
Yeah, a little bit, slowly but surely. There's just such a negative stigma. Like, if you go to therapy, like that means like you're crazy. Like, no, it doesn't mean like that.
I did feel that way at a certain point because I think it wasn't really out of judgment. It was more fear of judgment. Like, I didn't want to be judged by going to therapy.
Obviously.
When I dropped out of college, I kind of fell down like a bad, like just sadness and just phase of just like not don't want to do anything, staying at home, kind of just sulking. And my mother offered like, hey, like just like I've seen you down, like you have that available option. But at the time, it's like, oh, like, I don't want to be the guy in therapy. It's kind of just like, ugh,
There's kind of a
that's like a really
stereotype
big
around
crap
it, yeah.
out. But it's, I mean, looking back now, I probably should have went just because at that time when I was out of school, I just felt directionless and just really just sad and just stayed home, ate, didn't go out, just stayed in my room. It's gross. I definitely should have sought professional help, but at the same time, it worked out.
Yeah, it's all like an experience that we learn from.
Yeah, I'd say like if there's anyone out there who's like feels like they're struggling with something and they don't have an outlet, or that you haven't looked for an outlet, I'd say look for one, definitely.
You know, what's it called? I don't know. So even like, I don't know if this is like
a healthy outlet, by the way, not harmful outlets.
Don't do drugs.
Obviously. But like, what do you guys think about like going to friends and family?
I think
good friends.
Yeah, I think as long as you can really trust someone, then you can go to them and talk to them, and that it's, for some people that is enough.
Yeah.
to talk to a friend, just really have a conversation about like what's been bothering you and like being reassured about like anything you might be wrong about, and really like talking through what you might be feeling.
It helps.
I feel like
I had this,
Sometimes that friend will have that, like, will be in the same boat. It's good to talk about.
I had this experience maybe like more than a couple months ago, that I was following someone on Instagram. Like, we were following each other, and they messaged me, and like, I've never met them in real life or anything like that. No, I've never met them in real life or anything in like that. So we were basically strangers at this time, and they decided that like, oh, like to talk about it, like basically a therapy session, but like with a stranger.
I love bro chats. A nice healthy bro chat.
Bro chats are
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
So they ended up like talking to me about all their problems and like their opinion, like wanted my opinion on how to carry it
On their problem.
Okay. problem. So it was like a weird situation. I was questioning why they were messaging me.
Something different, but at the same time, it's healthy.
I've never had someone do that to me before, because first we don't know each other.
Imagine pulling that on someone you barely know. That's.
And it was a lot of information, but I'm not the type of person to be like, get out of my DM.
Yeah.
Go away.
Because like, if someone's reaching out like that, like, you never know. So I was just like, okay, I'm here. I'll stay present for you to
spill the beans. Hug it out. Let's go.
Whatever you need from my side. If it helps, I don't know. And I said, I was just like, I don't know if this is going to help, if it's not going to help, but stuff like that. And then we talked about whatever they wanted to talk about. And I was just like, okay, I'm glad that I was there for them, even though we're complete strangers to one another. It was the weirdest thing, but
still in contact.
Sometimes they respond to my stories like, oh, that's such a nice outfit, or like stuff like that.
That's such a way to just like hold on to somebody you haven't spoken to in a while. Just every now and then comment on their story. I feel like I do that for people I met like years ago.
Yeah.
No, but it's nice because it's just like so many.
No, it's awesome.
There's so much of like a thing like, oh, is it weird that I'm like messaging them and like responding to a story?
I still feel that way.
No, you can't, because you're awkward. You can't be awkward.
Yeah, I'm very awkward.
I will message. I don't care
if
anymore.
you like
I think it's
something,
cool. Be like, oh, dude, tight, or hell yeah, this is funny, or like just what?
Yeah, like it is what it is. Like later on in life, I regret swiping up on their story.
I comment on like all of your stories. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I comment on everything of yours. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I comment on a bunch of your stuff.
A few times. But it is what it is, and I'm glad that, you know, if you want to talk to a stranger about it, if you think the stranger looks like a
trustworthy,
nice, trustworthy stranger. I guess I look like a trustworthy stranger.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
What does a trustworthy stranger look like?
Nicole.
So yeah, no, that was a nice experience, and I'm glad I was there. If someone ever messaged you guys, try to be open about like hearing.
I'm a very good listener. I definitely.
That's good.
I try to listen.
It's a lot of
when I was younger, I used to make myself available to anybody who wanted to just talk or just
That's nice.
Always. I haven't done that in a while though.
That's cool that you could be that guy for people.
I used to whatever I can do to help.
I had friends like that. I mean, obviously we're currently friends, but like I had friends in high school who were like friends. Always open to listening to my issues, and like high school was sort of a time where I felt like I didn't really have the outlet I needed necessarily, but like my friends were always there to kind of like pick me up, you know? So yeah, I mean, if you have a person like that in your life, hold on to them because they're very valuable. But yeah, segueing into our next little segment of this conversation.
Brought to you by Segways this episode. Holy moly.
So segueing to our next little topic here is memes as a coping mechanism.
I hate you.
I think this was in the research notes for what Jess gave us, but I felt like that we couldn't not talk about this because specifically a lot of these coping memes are coming out due to two major things happening. One, Kobe's passing. Oh my god. And two,
and Gigi's passing.
And
the rest of the
coronavirus going around. It's still kind of a sad thought, but I've seen some good memes about how you can't say Kobe anymore when you throw a piece of garbage away.
You can't?
That you can't, because then you're gonna remember Kobe.
Yeah,
and then
like you just get sad saying Kobe, like throwing a.
Or like I've always said Jordan. I've never said Kobe, but
Walk out.
Leave right now.
I mean, I love Kobe today.
I mean, it is. Some people, everybody has their own way of grieving, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of I feel like it's a very new coping mechanism. Like it's sort of our way of saying like, hey, this is really stressing me out. Like, let me make a joke about it.
Yeah.
To try to not.
You know how when you're texting
Yeah.
something really serious and you like sprinkle a dash of LOL just to like make
I cried
it
7
easier.
times last night.
LOL.
Yeah.
LOL. I hate my life. No, I'm kidding. I don't say that shit. Okay. I used to say it.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah, it's
like that.
it's kind of it's a stress reliever in a way. It's weird, but
Yeah.
that's kind of just the way a lot of
Cookie
people go
crumbles.
about things now, especially like stressful things, including stuff like the way people feel about like our political system right now. Like there's a bunch of memes about that like,
Eddie.
on both sides of the aisle, conservative and liberal, but like it's just when people feel stressed out about some things.
I thought she said I'm beautiful.
No, she just said beautiful.
I just said beautiful.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay, Nicole.
memes as a coping mechanism,
Yeah.
dark humor, stuff like that.
Yeah, it is what it is. Everybody has their own
I
thing.
don't find dark memes funny, right?
Admittedly-
I'm a snowflake millennial. I don't approve of those.
Admittedly,
You're just a snowflake in general.
it can help
Guilty.
sometimes with certain things. Sometimes it goes a little too far. Like it is unfortunate when people start making memes about something that like
Just
really bad that just
happened.
happened
There's a
like the day
line, there's a
before.
line.
Like you gotta give
Borders,
it some time.
guys.
Yeah, like 9/11 memes.
Borders.
Not funny to me.
Not
at all.
funny.
I do not
I
approve of it at all.
hate
Yeah.
I do
9/11
not
memes.
enjoy 9/11 memes.
It's
I hate
just
them.
like
Very.
there's a line.
They're just stupid.
There's a line. But
Maybe because we're New Yorkers.
I feel like a lot of people are sort of better understanding that
They're
line.
edgy,
you know?
man.
Oh God. Don't even say that
Disgusting.
word.
Anyway.
But our last little topic here is just titled where do we go from here? So
Home.
I'm scared.
Hopefully.
just thinking about like
My cousin's coming to
as
pick me up.
so just thinking about like as we become more conscious as like a society of mental health and how we should take better care of ourselves, not just physically, not just emotionally, but like mentally, like as a whole package.
Packing up over there.
Just to, yeah, because
Call it a day
because
next
It was hanging
because I
out.
said where do we go from here, and she's like I'm going home.
Where do we go?
Well,
The train home.
right.
But I mean, a big thing is establishing a healthy work-life balance.
Valid.
Obviously, there are some times
Like a salad.
where this may not be like feasible. Like I think for some people, like especially like college students, it's hard to kind of find that work-life balance because there's just so much going on. But just paying attention to like how much you're doing and how much time you actually get to like just enjoy being alive, like that's important.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
Like
Um,
sit and like kind of reflect on life and life.
Beautifully said.
Wonderful.
Beautifully said.
I love
So
you guys.
Just
articulate.
reflect on life.
I
Life.
love you guys.
Love you too.
The next thing is actually something we mentioned, like finding a healthy outlet, something that'll help you
For
sort
Julian,
Watch
it's his
this
obsession
podcast.
with porn.
of, yeah, that's why my heart rate
Aggressive
failed.
porn watching.
That is exactly why my heart rate failed. But yeah, it's finding healthy outlets that you
What's
feel
your outlet,
like.
Julian?
My outlet is meditation. It's running. It's
Oh, how's that going?
I gotta get back to it. I just haven't had time. But I always like getting a runner's high is really nice.
In all honesty,
Is that like smoking wine? Smoking wine?
No, it's you just get to a certain point where, like after a really good run, you just get this hit of dopamine, and it's It's nice. it's just you feel really accomplished for
that
like
straight dopamine.
getting
bro. Hell
a
yeah.
good workout in.
What's your outlet, Nicole?
honestly, when I'm like sad, I tend to
Crack cocaine.
no. I tend to
Heroin,
wanna be
okay.
around
Black tar,
people.
baby.
Around people. I like
just being
around
social.
like being social
That
is
makes
what
sense,
like
yeah.
kind of calms me down to get me out of my
Yeah.
mind, and I like doing that. Sometimes like during the week I'm like alone by myself a lot because like I'm out from like 9 to 9 every night every day for school and
Yeah,
work,
I
and
feel
I'm like doing it all by myself, and it's like yeah, I text sometimes or whatever, but it's not like
Yeah, it's not the same as
I'm
being
not
around
physically
people.
with someone, so then I get kind of lonely at times, and then I'm just like sad,
I feel that.
and then I'm like, and then I hang out with people, and I'm like, hey guys,
Yeah.
Hey, what's your
I agree with that's actually a pretty good one.
like just being around people?
You're on people records, obviously.
Mhm.
Take that. Used to be smoking, but well,
not anymore,
that boat's long gone, sadly.
Not anymore.
not anymore,
Not anymore.
But getting drunk as hell.
because he is of age.
Exactly.
I think we could stop saying that now, guys. Honestly.
That
No,
is
new
true.
new listeners and viewers need to understand that David is the only one in this room
Okay,
as of
so
right now.
let's say someone hears it, then what? Then they hear me say, "Oh, he's drinking. Ooh, I better call the police."
I mean, maybe.
I
you
better
never
got
know.
No,
Police.
it would never happen
You
ever,
would
guys.
never
We don't
know.
have.
Well,
We're not a school podcast anymore. I could say I'm drinking.
That's true.
valid like a salad.
Anyway, the last thing is looking into habits that have been shown to alleviate stress and help with moderate depression / anxiety. Things such as meditation,
Porn.
exercise, yoga, spending time in nature,
Masturbation.
etc.
Watching porn in nature.
All right.
I just looked
let's
at the light and now my eyes are blind.
good. I feel like a lot of those things I can definitely relate to. Meditation really does help alleviate some
It
stress
does,
and
it does.
anxiety. Exercise, spending time in nature. I feel like once it gets warm, I'm going to start going on walks again through Central
Same.
Park. and-
Oh, let me know. I was
yeah, we'll go on some walks
I like
together.
some
It's
walking.
Very
Long
nice.
Island's just there's like barely any nature around. There's a state park next to us, but it's like,
It's
But that's nice.
not well maintained.
But it's
or
all
whatever.
right.
Thanks,
But yeah,
Nicole. I appreciate
I mean,
it.
just looking for
You'll be
things, looking for things that healthy. We say healthy, not physically healthy,
Let's
but
go upstate and go
just
hiking.
good thing. I want to go hiking,
Let's
dude.
go. Let me
I
know.
wanna go hiking.
All right, Nicole's falling asleep. We gotta hurry up. But yeah, just
She's starting to sing. Oh no.
doing things that make you feel less stressed and can alleviate some of that anxiety that you might be feeling is always a very valuable experience. So we here at Manhattan's Voice do endorse
Taking nature
Crack
walks.
cocaine.
no.
Nature walks and Pornhub.
No, okay.
If porn does it, porn does it.
If you
Hey,
wanna
I
get
mean-
relief,
You want to
stop
spank the
picking
monkey?
it.
Do your thing, baby. You wanna,
We
I'm sorry.
need to-
And if you want to flick,
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, thanks for
bleep,
listening.
bleep, bleep, blah.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Choking the chicken.
We hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love
Yes.
you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful week.
Goodbye.
And
watch
week.
Narcos Mexico season.
We will be talking to you
right.
next week. Goodbye.